Hello and welcome to the Volunteer Blood Bank of Delmarva Ambassador Training. Thank you so much for being willing to help us spread the news and help us to inspire heroes and infuse hope for those patients that need the blood that we are collecting, processing, and then getting to where it needs to go. So thank you for being willing to do that. Angela Williamson here, and I just want to run through some things on how to be a good ambassador in the community at one of our tabling events. So the tables might be at a health fair, a parade, a community event, whatever it is. So each table might be a little different depending on your setting. Right now I'm indoors, so I have papers just sitting on the table. Well, if we were outdoors, these would be flying all over the place, right? So you might have to adjust a little bit depending on where you are. But I wanted to run through just some basics for you. Really, the big idea of being an ambassador is we want you to leave people with a positive feeling. We want them to feel good, right? We want them to know something that they didn't know about Blood Bank of Delmarva or just the blood banking process or whatever it is, the need of blood. So you're sharing info. And why? So that they donate, or if they can't donate, which is possible, that they can spread the news just like you have been. So here we are. Again, we want them to feel good, we want them to learn some information, and we want them to have some action. So they come donate or they share the news. That's kind of the big idea of being an ambassador. Again, we want them to feel good, learn something, and be inspired for action. So customer service, this is really a customer service role. You're not selling anything, you're not, being you're an information person basically. So this is what we want you to do for customer service. Something I want you to think about, when you have visited a museum, a store, anywhere that you've gone, think of the best customer service that you've ever had. What did that look like? Do you have something in mind? Was it somebody was friendly, they went out of their way to be helpful, they gave you more information than what you thought? What is it for you? So think about that best experience that you've ever had that you're like, wow, that was the best customer service. Of course, Disney always comes to mind because that's what they do, but I'm sure you have had other experiences just locally, wherever you are in your everyday. What does that look like? We want you to be that person behind this table for the blood bank to be representing. So be a good customer service. So how do you do that? Most of these you're going to be at a table and people will be just walking by, right? Walking by all the time. So your challenge is going to be to engage to that person because it's so easy. Think about it. When you've been to one of these events, you just kind of walk on by, and you don't really want to engage face to face or eye to eye with these people because they're selling you something. But the good news for the blood bank is you're not selling an item. You're actually promoting and recruiting them and giving them education so that they know why blood banking is so important. So, how do you do that? If I'm sitting there and I'm like this, or I'm on my phone like this, or even better, this, does that help? Do you want to stop by? No. So, what you're going to want to do is smile. Smile all the time. It's always good for you anyway. It'll make you feel better. So smile. You want an open body language. So something that's more open or like this. Again, if you're shut and closed up and all crunched up, nobody's going to want to talk to you. So again, have that open stance and the smile and be friendly. Another thing is to you will need to most likely start the conversation. So starting with questions like, I just sort of talk to people when they're 5, even 10 feet away. Of course, I don't know their name, so you can't use that. But just say things like, how are you? Have you thought about giving blood today? Have you ever been to the Blood Bank of Delmarva? Do you know what we do? If you need blood, where do you think it comes from? Would you like to try a game? Because some of the kits that I will be having for you will have some games and some interactive kinds of things. One of them actually is sort of a guessing game. So I have questions and then the answer is on the back. So you can say, would you like to try a guessing game? And those kinds of things. So engage them in that way. If they just pass on by, just let them go. Don't be offended. It is not you, okay? So you're just putting it out there and you're just sort of like the waitress at the end of the dinner. You're serving dessert. They like dessert, they don't want dessert. It's just up to them, okay? All right, so you're getting them engaged, they're coming up to the table. So now you're going to ask maybe a factoid or ask them a question. Did you know that we need 380 people every single day to be able to supply the blood we need for the 19 hospitals? I just gave them some numbers and some facts so that they can take that home with them. So share some kind of information. Do the game. Give them one of the flyers that we have. And then sometimes we'll have giveaways. So we might have pens, we might have magnets, some kind of, this is a Delmarva blood donor that you can put on a car window. Whatever the giveaway is, we'll have something for you. Ultimately, again, we want them to feel good. We want them to have gained some kind of information or knowledge, and then action. So we will always have some kind of sign up for them. So you can ask them if they're interested. Don't force them, don't be rude, but ask them, oh, now that you know this information, would you like to sign up to donate? So you can get their information and they can donate, sign up to be called or contacted to be a donor or to get more information about becoming a volunteer. Let's just say they can't donate for whatever reason. Maybe they can volunteer with us. So that's another thing you can do. So you're going to gauge their interest. Some people are just going to pass on by and that's fine. Other people will come up and they're going to be, I'm a donor, isn't that great? And that's fabulous. So interact and say, thank you so much. Thanks for saving lives. You're the best. You're a superhero. Whatever it is that person seems to be sort of in the groove with, okay? So how do you respond in case somebody has issues with a past experience with a blood donation or BBD or something like that that wasn't so positive? So you're going to just listen and listen and listen, okay? So just listen. Don't necessarily agree with them. You don't necessarily have to give excuses. You don't have to give any reasons. Don't do any of that, okay? Really, what I think a good way to do this is to say, I'm really sorry you feel like that. I'm sorry that you feel like you've had such a bad experience, or whatever it is. Hopefully it's not too bad. And you can say, I will pass along that information to a staff person. Would you like me to give your contact information to them and they will follow up with you? That way you are addressing their concern, getting their information if they want to share it. Some people just like to complain and they're not going to give you information. They're not going to give you their name, so they just like to complain. So just again, just listen, say, I'm so sorry you feel like that. Maybe you can try it again someday. Unless they're really mad, then maybe don't do that. But just kind of do that. All right, and then you can pass all that information on to me. Take notes as you go, give me, kind of the context, the question, whatever it is, and you can send that to me. All right, maybe somebody's gonna come along and ask you a question that you don't know. Yikes, what do, right? If it's not already in here, and if it's not in the FAQ, the frequently asked questions that I've already given you, and you just don't know off the top of your head, that's okay. It is perfectly good, and what I want you to say is, wow, that's a great question. I don't have the answer for that, but I can look for you, and if you give me your contact information, I will follow up and send you that information. Oftentimes people aren't that interested that they're going to give you their contact info, but you at least are addressing the fact that you don't know, and you can look and you're going to be finding that out for them if they really want to know. So what do if you don't have the answer? Wow, that's a great question. I'm not sure what the answer is to that question. I can find out for you. All right. Ultimately, in all of this is the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. So think about that. When you're passing by, how do you want to be treated? I like the people that are just friendly and they don't try to get the fish hook and like drag me in, to a table or in a conversation. But I do like the ones that have like just a normal conversation, question, or engagement. So how do you find more information to learn more? Okay, so your resources, these are going to be your resources. We have myvolunteerpage.com, which name is actually changing to myimpactpage.com. Either one of those will get you to the right place, okay? myvolunteerpage.com or myimpact, I-M-P-A-C-T, page.com. Under the files on that very front page, on the files, on the bottom right side of that page, it's going to have all sorts of files and documents that you can look at. So myvolunteerpage.com. The BBD website has a plethora of information, stories, inspirational stories. Look on the blog, just go to the website. There's so much information there. Frequently asked questions, things like that. So definitely get to the website. You're going to be able to keep up with the current stories. Maverick is a baby that had multiple transfusions. Riley is a young student who, again, multiple transfusions. Just great, wonderful stories that you can tell and share people. So if you learn those, you'll be able to share that impact. So again, we want people to feel good. Your donations are literally saving lives. We want them to feel good, so share those. Those current stories are going to be on the website. People, who do you call if you have a question? Ghostbusters! Okay, sorry, I show my age. But you can call me. Call Angela at 302-737-8405, and my extension is 819. Or of course, email me as well, Williamson, S-O-N, at bbd.org. So certainly get in touch with me if you have any questions about any of this. Scheduling. So how do you sign up for this? In myvolunteerpage.com, there's a category called Outreach, Community Outreach. So look there. All the dates are going to be in there. We're going to start using that to be able to sign up. You'll go sign up. If you have questions about that, certainly let me know. But look on there. Supplies. So you're going to need supplies for your table with all of your items. So we're going to do a quick tour of what might be in your bag, the basics, and in certain kits there might be something different. And so if you have any questions about that, let me know. Okay, for the table, in the bag you should have the tablecloth, the BBD branded tablecloth, red with the logo on front. So when you set up your table, put the logo toward the front. I think you probably figured that out, but every one should have a logo on it. And I know I'm a little nitpicky, but try to make sure it's nice and straight and it's like even with the floor. I hate those tables where it's kind of cattywampus, look like they didn't take time to figure it out. So if you can, just make sure it's nice and level with the ground, you'll be good to go. All right, then also in the kit, you're gonna have handouts, some kind of handouts. So you can lay these out. I will try to give you probably at least 2 different kinds of handouts, just in case people have different interests. And you'll have those. So I have handouts, probably some kind of hands-on activity or quiz. This is sort of the game show, low-tech version, right? So we have the question, and then the answers on the back. And then we have a question, and then we have the answer on the back. So that's something that you can use to engage people. And people seem to really like to guess. And so it's a really fun thing, and it's great for learning for you as well. But here's your guessing game. Then of course we're going to have the place where they can sign up for getting more information. So their name, email, and phone number. And then if they have donated before, it's really nice if they can check that little box on the right-hand side so that we can look them up in the system before we even call them to know what they are, what they've been donating, who they are, how long it's been, that kind of thing. There's a checkbox for volunteer information and then another checkbox for if they're interested in donating. Of course, they could check all 3 boxes or just one, however they want to do that. But if you can make sure it's really easy to read their information, verify it with them to say, oh, is that a 5 or an S? Is that a 9 or a 4? You know, whatever it is. So double check that just so we can reach them. Hopefully there's always a pen in the kit, and then giveaways. So whether it's a magnet, sometimes we'll have maybe have pens, some stickers to put on cars, that kind of thing. So that's going to be your basic kit. There, again, might be a few other things that are in there depending on where you're going, what you're doing. But any questions about that, let me know. All right? Thanks. All right, you've gotten through it all. Thank you for listening and getting this far. Quick quiz, okay? Pop quiz, here we go. What is a good body posture to have to be looking friendly? What do you think? Of course I can't hear you, so I hope you're doing something. Strike the pose, right? Is it smiling and it's happy and it's open, right? All right, question number 2. What can you say to engage a passerby person? What's your favorite? Come up with your own too, and experiment. You might find something that doesn't work, try something else. Good morning, how are you? Have you thought about donating before? Something like that. So how do you respond to somebody who may have had a bad experience or not so good experience with donating blood or BBD or something like that? Right, you listen. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm listening. So you listen. Listen and say, I am so sorry you feel like that. I can help you by giving your story to somebody else, one of the staff people, not just somebody else, but give it to me. If you don't know an answer to a question, what do? Don't make up an answer. Please do not make up an answer, okay? So if you don't know, say, you know what, that's a really great question, because you're affirming them that it's not a stupid question, And then you say, I don't know that either, and I can try to find out for you. If you want, give me your information and I'll give you the answer. Where can you find the materials and the information you need to know more? My volunteer page, the BBD website, and me. Call me if you have questions. So how do you sign up for events? myvolunteerpage.com, turning into myimpactpage.com, and sign up online. Alrighty. Now you're ready to go. Go get them. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate you coming out and being an ambassador. Thanks.